Hi, this is Jeremy. I'm going to work through the exercises that go with a Math Antics video comparing fractions. For our first problem, we need to compare the fractions 7 over 16 and 9 over 16. Now these are like fractions, which is going to make the comparison really easy. Whenever you have like fractions where the bottom numbers are the same, to compare them, you just need to look at the top numbers, 7 and 9 in this case, because they're both sixteenths. This is 7 sixteenths, and this is 9 sixteenths. So we know that 9 is bigger than 7. So that means that 7 sixteenths is going to be less than 9 sixteenths. In problem 2, we also need to compare some like fractions, 3 over 20 and 2 over 20. Since the bottom numbers are the same, we can just compare by looking at the top number. It's like we can just ignore the bottom number. And since 3 is greater than 2, that means that 3 over 20 is greater than 2 over 20. In our next problem, we need to compare the fractions 5 over 6 and 7 over 8. Now these are not like fractions. The bottom numbers are different, so we can't just look at the top numbers. We have to take the whole fraction into account. But this is where we can use the cross-multiplying trick that we learned in the video lesson. This is a great way to compare unlike fractions. And in that cross-multiplying trick, what we do is we're going to get a number on each side. The number on this side we're going to get by cross-multiplying or multiplying these two numbers, the top number of the first and the bottom number of the second. So 5 times 8 is going to give us 40 on this side. And then for the other side, we'll cross-multiply the 7 and the 6. 6 times 7 is 42. Now, what are these two numbers here? These numbers are what the top numbers would be if these were like fractions, if these could just compare straight across like we did in the last two problems. And so, if we just look at these two numbers, we can tell which fraction is greater. 42 is greater than 40, so that means that this 7 over 8 is going to be greater than the 5 over 6. Of course, we wrote it with a less than symbol here. Since we read left to right, we're going to say that 5 over 6 is less than 7 over 8. In problem 4, we need to compare the fractions 3 over 4 and 9 over 12. Again, the bottom numbers are different. These are unlike fractions, so we're going to need to use our cross-multiplying trick. So we're going to set up for our numbers here, and we're going to cross-multiply. We multiply the 3 times the 12 to get this top number. 3 times 12 would be 36. And then we multiply these two to get this new top number. 4 times 9 would be 36 also. So 36 and 36 are equal. That means that these two fractions are also equal. In the next problem, we need to compare the fractions 8 over 11 and 3 over 5. So again, they're not like fractions, so we're going to use our cross-multiplying trick. We're going to cross-multiply the 8 times the 5. That will give us 40 for this new top number. And then over here, we're going to do 11 times 3, which gives us 33 for this side's new top number. And then we can just compare those numbers to see which fraction is larger. And that's going to be the 8 over 11 because 40 is greater than 33. So 8 over 11 is greater than 3 over 5. Next, we need to compare the fractions 4 over 10 and 5 over 12. They're unlike fractions, so we're going to cross-multiply to see what the top numbers would be if they were like fractions, so we can compare those. Okay, for this side, 4 times 12 is going to give us 48 on this side, and 10 times 5 will give us 50 on this side. So we can see that this fraction here is larger because 50 is larger than 48. That means this one is smaller or less than. 4 over 10 is less than 5 over 12. In problem 7, we need to compare the fractions 8 over 23 and 5 over 17. Now they're unlike fractions, so we're going to use the same cross-multiplying procedure, but since these are bigger numbers this time, we're going to be able to use our calculator to help us out with the multiplication. So let's get ready for our new top numbers, and first let's multiply 8 times 17 with our calculator. 8 times 17 would give us 136 for this side. Pretty big, but now let's check the other side. 23 times 5 will give us this number. So 23 times 5 is 115. So that one is less. That means our first fraction, 8 over 23, is greater than 5 over 17. In the next problem, we need to compare the fractions 5 over 16 and 20 over 64. And again, since these are big numbers that aren't on our multiplication table, we get to use our calculator for this one. But we're going to cross multiply just the same to get the number on this side. To get the top number on this side, we're going to cross multiply 5 times 64. 5 times 64 gives us 320. And then for this side, we're going to multiply 16 times 20. 16 times 20 gives us also 320. So even though it would have been difficult to tell just by looking at these fractions, these are equivalent fractions. They have the same value, so they are equal. In problem 9, we're going to use a different method to compare fractions. We're going to convert to their decimal values to compare them. Every fraction could be converted to a decimal value just by dividing, since fraction is a division problem. 2 over 17 means 2 divided by 17, and 3 over 19 is 3 divided by 19. If we go ahead and do that using a calculator, we'll get the decimal values. We could just compare those values. So let's start with 2 over 17. 2 divided by 17 would give us 0.11, and we can round off to 8 because the decimal continues on, 0.1176. But we'll just round off to 0.118 for this side. For over here, we'll do 3 divided by 19. 3 divided by 19 gives us 0.15, and we'll round off to 8. 0.158. So we can see, if you know how to compare decimals, we just go digit by digit and see which one is bigger. 0.1, 0.1, those are the same, but the next digit here is a 5, and the next digit here is a 1. So this is greater here. That means the fraction 3 over 19 is going to be greater than 2 over 17, or 2 over 17 is less than 3 over 19. And for our last problem, we're also going to compare fractions by converting to their decimal values. We've got two fractions, 7 over 32 and 5 over 29, and since those are just division problems, we can do the division, get their decimal values, and compare those. We're going to use a calculator for this one also, and we're going to divide 7 by 32. 7 divided by 32 will give us 0.219. I'm just rounding off to 3 decimal places, even though it continues on here. 3 should be fine. And on this side, 5 divided by 29. 5 divided by 29 gives us 0.172. So now we just compare these numbers, and it's pretty easy to see here, since the tenths place of this one is 2 and the tenths place of this one is 1, that this one is larger. What that means is that 7 over 32 is greater than 5 over 29.